So, what's the first topic you want to get into?
Yeah,
AstroWorld.
Yeah. Let's talk about.
Let's talk about it. You got an article on that?
Yeah, I'm bringing it up, but so far, let's just talk about what AstroWorld is to the community. You know what I'm saying? If you want to keep it a bug, AstroWorld is a yearly event, an annual event Travis Scott has in Houston. I want to say for the past how many years? For the past
started probably like 2016. That was when I was out there. It started kind of like in that time frame, but for the past 4 years, it's been going on, and it's one of those big festivals. They got the rides, they got people come out and perform. It's definitely a vibe. Definitely a vibe at AstroWorld.
Yeah, and I think 2018 when he released, what was it? I think it was a goddamn.
What was the album?
AstroWorld.
Yeah,
that's what kind of kicked it off when he released it. When he released the Jordans, the 4s and shit, and
the Cactus Jacks.
Yeah, the Cactus Jacks and all that shit started like blowing up. I think that was kind of took the concert like over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And the hysteria of Travis Scott and who he is.
Him being signed to Jordan, all that.
Yeah, so at least 8 dead and many injured after crowd surge at Travis Scott's AstroWorld Festival in Houston, as they say. People described the incident being increasingly squeezed in minutes before Scott's performance began, and the feeling of crushed and seeing others pass out screaming terror once the show started. God damn. The crowd was squishing into me so much I felt like I couldn't breathe. A girl, Emily, 22, told CNN, I started screaming for help. I felt so scared like I was going to die. The amount of people I saw get hurt, passed out, bleeding, crying is crazy. When Scott came on stage, everything started to happen. The audience member told the reporter, people just went berserk. I realized people were dying. The crowd, for whatever reason, began to push the surge towards the front of the stage, which caused the people in the front to be compressed. The Houston fire chief told CNN this morning. People began to fall out, became unconscious, and got trampled. Another woman in the crowd says she ultimately passed out and apparently was crowd surfed to safety. As the timer on screen counted down 30 minutes to Scott's performance, people compressed up against each other and were pushing forward and backward, and it got progressively worse. I was having constant pressure on my back and my chest. From the side, I was being squeezed. Right when he started performing his first song, I looked at my boyfriend and said, we have to get out of here. He said, I can't, we can't. Damn. When I remember looking,
so scary.
Yeah, when I remember looking up and passing out and then going in and out of consciousness, she said she remembers being pulled over a fence and ultimately waking up for good in a chair. Damn.
Yeah.
What do you guys have to say?
Cara, get into it.
I recently went to go see Future in Miami. Future and Kodak and all of them, they was out there. Actually, Lil Uzi was supposed to perform too, but he didn't show up. And the space that we were at, like, it was outside, but it was a smaller, it wasn't like festival size, but it was a smaller venue. And it was so many people. But, like, literally being in that crowd, when Future hit the stage, them people went fucking crazy. Like, it was ridiculous. And I felt like, I was being pushed around and stuff like that. So I understand,
right,
that feeling. But it's even scarier when you have it's over 50,000 people. I think they said were there.
Yeah.
And you have you can't. Where can you go? Like, it's just a sea of people. There's nowhere, to be like where you can see somewhere to get out or anything like that. So I feel for the people who were there and experienced that, and even more, especially, of course, for the people who passed away. Like, that is so scary. It's just, like, you want to have a good time, you want to go and you want to be around people, especially, like, after COVID and all this stuff. Like, it's great, but it's just crazy. And I feel so bad about that. It makes me feel so scared for people to just go out. And then it's another day today. And actually, my brother was supposed to go. He ended up not even going yesterday because of something happened. I guess his friend forgot his COVID card, and he wasn't able to go. But he's trying to go today. And now that we're finding out that other things are coming out to, what happened, and we'll get into that. But it's just crazy to see, and it's so sad.
So first thing first, when I first thought about it, I was just like, my condolences go out today, families that, lost a loved one in this whole tragedy.
Yeah.
Start with that. But if you've ever been to a concert, a rave, or anything like that, like we pretty much all have at this panel, you understand that those crowds are extremely crazy.
Yeah.
When these artists get on stage, they don't really care who's behind them, who's beside them. They just trying to rage and turn up.
Right.
Period. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when I actually read it to TMZ with some other news that we're about to get into right now, that apparently there was somebody that was injecting somebody or people at the concert with drugs. So I've been at these concerts. I see these kids. I see how they act, their movements, their body language. A lot of them be on drugs. You feel me? And so they don't really care what's going on. They don't know if somebody dead beside them or, you know what I'm saying? I heard they had to stop the concert to let people know, like, it's people dying right now.
Yeah.
This. I mean, that's scary.
That's scary as hell.
At a concert.
You can't even go out and enjoy yourself and have a good time without some shit going down and people being stupid. Like, with the drug, what I'm referring to as a drug thing. You know, like, everybody does their own thing willingly. Okay, then, you know, that's one thing. But, like, you going out and injecting people with stuff.
That's insane.
It's insane. It's disgusting. And it makes you, it's inevitable that you're going to have some anxiety going out, you know, just trying to have a good time. You know, it makes everybody want to think twice about it.
Yeah, man. I remember I went to a Playboy Cardi concert in Miami back.
Oh God!
And this was but this was like December 2017, right? So it was a small enough event. It was like a club type shit. When I tell you, like, you can ask the twins, bro, we were literally swept off our feet. Like, the crowd was just a wave moving out.
It was no control.
But literally, like, you literally did not have control.
Zero control.
Go. And yet, it was fun because I was tall enough to see over the crowd. But for somebody who's not, that's not something you want to be doing or be involved with. Yeah. So I pulled up the article. Unconfirmed reports reveal AstroWorld Festival victims may have been injected with drugs. The youngest person killed at the event was reportedly just 10 years old. Day 2 of Travis Scott's AstroWorld Festival was expected to kick off today, but after 8 attendees were tragically killed in one day, the Houston rapper decided to shut down the event early this afternoon, he shared in a statement, expressing his disbelief over the mass casualty that occurred Friday night. My prayers go out to the families and all those impacted by what happened at AstroWorld Festival. Houston PD has my total support as they continue to look for the tragic loss of life. I am committed to working together with the Houston community to heal and support the families needed. This upsetting incident has made headlines worldwide, and some sources are sharing that a patron of the event may have been injecting others in the crowd with drugs. Someone closely linked to the festival allegedly told the site that authorities are currently trying to determine if the attendees who went into cardiac arrest during the stampede were also injected. Reports say that at least one of the victims was seen foaming at the mouth before going into cardiac arrest, which could be considered evidence that there was foul play involved. One of the 8 people killed while attending AstroWorld Festival was reportedly just 10 years old. Damn.
That's insane.
TMZ acknowledges they have not yet confirmed that the news source is allegedly real, or was it from a key person? But the speculation could turn out to be the truth further down the road. Aside from the unfortunate loss of life, over 300 people also sustained injuries in the crowd. So not only were people stampeded over it and a 10-year-old died, people were allegedly injected with drugs unknowingly and basically were poisoned. Like, that's kind of like a terroristic threat, like domestic terrorism.
Definitely. In
the middle of a concert and people passing out. And honestly, one thing that might get drowned out in this conversation is, what parent is allowing their 10-year-old to go to AstroWorld?
Yeah, that when you said 10 years old, that kind of raised an eyebrow, 100%.
Yeah.
So
that has been a conversation that I've seen before on social media with parents who, you know, talked about taking their kids to different festivals. You know, if it's a little jazz festival, you know what I'm saying, one of them little grandparents type things, you know, stuff like that, cool, that's great. But AstroWorld, when you know there's drugs, drinking, all kinds of shit going on, unless you have like a VIP area or something, like, I don't even know. I just feel like even VIP is
like, if you're 10 years old going to AstroWorld, you should be there during the day going on rides, and at nighttime you should be leaving.
Right.
Period.
Right. Or they need to be like in an area away from everybody. Like, you know, if it's in a, you know, a safe environment where you're just with the people that you're with and, you know, they know what they're doing around you and they're aware that you're around. But just out and about.
Why are you in the mosh pit?
No.
See, I look at it like this, man. This isn't even the fault. The lawsuits and the insurance payout that's going to have to happen. And the liabilities that's going to have to happen. Because, you know, a lot of these shows, a lot of these festivals, like, you got to pay a big amount of money just for, like, the insurance policies, book events, and book spaces. You know what I'm saying? So not only are Live Nation, you know, I presume is, you know, was a liaison to get this done, they're going to have to pretty much get some type of culpability. You know what I'm saying? For not having the amount of security. Travis Scott and his team might have to have some culpability for not having the amount of people, for not stopping the show when he's seen people were in distress. It's a lot of fault into this situation, and the fallout isn't going to even begin to take place until the next coming days. Like right now, we're just literally digging through the rubble. So that's very unfortunate.
It's only the surface, man. Only the surface.
Yeah, man. And again, condolences out to the people who did lose their life, and their families, and you know, it's so sad. You know, you have to be so careful and just think twice about everything now.
Yeah, man.
Next topic we're getting into